Hey everyone, I recently purchased the Thermalright Grand Vision 360 ARGB Black Edition. I would like to talk a little bit about my experience with this AIO cooler, mostly good, but with some strange quirks and areas that I feel can be improved. First off, the features you get for the price is actually quite remarkable. I picked mine up on Amazon for $121 US, and for that price you get a massive LCD screen that magnetically clips onto the CPU block. It has great resolution and looks amazing inside the case. In my build, it keeps my 12th gen i7 12700K extremely cool, around 27 degrees Celsius at idle and around 25 degrees Celsius under load. In fact, while running a CPU stress test using CPU ID, I never saw my thermals exceed 58 degrees Celsius, which is super impressive, especially compared to the temps I was seeing on my old MSI Liquid Core P240, which would idle around 38 degrees Celsius, hit 68 degrees Celsius under regular usage load, and I got as high as 91 degrees Celsius utilizing the same CPU stress test. The installation was fairly straightforward. I won't go too deep into that because there are plenty of videos out in the wild that explain the installation of this AIO, and it generally installs the same as similar AIOs. It does use proprietary ARGB connectors, which is a bummer, but not a deal breaker. They are a little bit messy to deal with, but gives you enough length to get sorted out once you apply a little bit of cable management to them. I also like that both the ARGB and the power connections on the fans are daisy chained. The tubes are a little bit stiff, but they're manageable, and they even provide 3 cable management clips attached directly to the tubes where you can run the wires from the fan through them, or you can just remove the clips if you wish. In my build, I front mounted the AIO tubes up in my Corsair 4000D Airflow PC case. I can say with all certainty that this is the absolute largest radiator you can fit in this case, as the bottom of the AIO panel on the PC case is so close to the end of the radiator that I doubt you could even slide a piece of paper in between them. Double check your case's max radiator length because this one could get you in trouble. Speaking of the length, the reason it's so long is because the pump actually lives right on the end of the radiator just behind the tube. Which brings me to my next point of concern, is that I'm technically breaking the cardinal rule of having the pump at the top of the loop. Unfortunately, there is no other mounting options for me, so it is what it is. Regardless, I've not heard any noisy air bubbles or anything, and the thermals are extremely consistent. I am putting the AIO in a position where I could be accelerating the pump's degradation. Possibly, but that will all be seen in time. In fact, I would say that nobody truly knows how well these AIOs will hold up because we are all early adopters and it has yet to be seen. So far, I feel the performance is excellent, especially considering the price, and for me personally, that's enough to take the gamble. The fans has been super quiet and the RGB is nice and bright. On pure white settings, they do have that blue hue to them, so something to keep in mind if you're doing a whiteout build and plan on having all your RGB fans set to all white. You will get more of a cool icy blue from these fans. Once you have everything installed, you will need to go to Thermalright's clunky website and download the TRCC screen control software. This software gives you tons of options for customization, even allowing you to upload your own video clips, where on my PC, I get to see my dog swimming around in the river every time I take a look inside it. Unfortunately, the software is not exactly flawless. After installation, it immediately found my LCD screen, which is a good thing as other users have reported some issues with theirs not connecting. It's not the most intuitive interface, but I also wouldn't say it has a steep learning curve either. When it first loads up, you'll be given the option to select some generic local themes. From there, you can move on to the next tab, which gives you a variety of pre-built overlays. Moving to the next tab is where I've had the most issues, unfortunately. In the gallery tab, there's a ton of very cool animated GIFs that you can select from. When I first installed the software, I would click an image and it would say it was downloading, but it would never load either in the preview window, within the software, or on my LCD screen. A gentleman over at Tom's Hardware forum suggested that I uninstall and reinstall the software, and that actually worked, well, until it didn't. After reinstalling, I clicked on some images and they were loading and everything appeared to be working as it should be. The next day, I hopped back on my PC and started clicking on more images to find out that it was back to doing the same thing. The image that previously worked were still able to load, but none of the other images that I hadn't clicked on yet would load. So I uninstalled and reinstalled the software once more, and now it's back to just not working again. I tried uninstalling and reinstalling about 4 more times, and as of making this review, it's still not working, and I'm pretty much over it. If you go into the advanced settings, however, you can load your own clips or static background images and customize the text and overlay. And honestly, I'll probably always use a custom theme, so while the gallery not working is disappointing, it's not a huge deal at the moment. I'm holding out hope that a future software update or something will fix the issue and put it to bed once for all. The last thing I'll mention is something of utter hilarity. As I was reading through the warranty statement, I realized that someone at Thermalright took a lazy approach and literally copy and pasted Corsair's warranty language verbatim. So much so that they actually forgot to replace Corsair's name with their own name under the limitation of liability section, where they explain that they will not pay for your destroyed PC parts if this AIO decides to spring a leak all over your internal components. Great job, Thermalright. We expect nothing less from Chinese manufacturers though. The only other kind of nitpick I have is while the LCD will display my GPU's temperature, I can't get it to display my GPU's utilization. I'm running an XFX 6700 XT in this build, and like I said, it just will not show in percentage or anything else the utilization. In conclusion, this is a feature-rich product with great performance both in thermals and noise levels at an even more ridiculously incredible price. I know I spent a lot of time on the negatives, but the truth is I'm extremely happy with my purchase so far. And if they fix these little issues I have pointed out, I wouldn't have a single bad thing to say about it. My concerns are mostly minor in nature and mostly affects cosmetic features over its otherwise excellent functionality.